I wasn't invited to Thanksgiving dinner this year. Again. My dad says it's because there's no room for people who quit. What he means is, I walked away from the law firm. 6 years ago, I left the family legacy, the Ivy League dream, and all the billable hours. Now they act like I vanished. But last week, my cousin sent me a message that changed everything, and he didn't even know it was me. Subscribe for more real stories that hit deep and stay with you. My name's Ethan Miller, I'm 34, and I live in Baltimore. I used to be an associate attorney at a top-tier firm in D.C., grinding 80-hour weeks for prestige I didn't even want. After a total burnout and a panic attack in a courthouse bathroom, I quit. Quietly. No drama. Just done. I moved back to Baltimore and built Bridge Path, a digital mentorship platform helping first-gen college students navigate careers. No one in my family really knows what I do, or cares. Not until now. The first few months back in Baltimore felt like I'd been erased. My mom kept asking when I'd go back to law. My dad barely looked at me. "You used to be someone?" he said once over coffee, not even with anger, just disappointment. It stung more that way. I didn't argue. I just nodded and went back to writing code that night. BridgePath started with 6 users, kids from underfunded schools I'd tutored back in college. I built it in my apartment, the same one I'd lived in during law school. I ate ramen, skipped outings, and took freelance gigs to keep the lights on. My parents thought I was between jobs. My uncle flat out called me a failure at a family dinner. I stayed quiet. But every time someone signed up, every time a student messaged, "Thank you for helping me not feel stupid," I felt something real. I wasn't just someone. I was someone doing something that mattered. A year in, BridgePath started gaining traction. Word of mouth spread, mostly through student forums and Reddit threads. I watched analytics spike from 6 users to 600, then 6,000. I added live Q&A features, mentor matching, and resume review tools. The feedback was overwhelming. Kids from neighborhoods like mine finally felt seen. But still, to my family, I was still figuring things out. I'd show up to birthdays, and they'd ask about law firms like I was just on an extended break. My dad once patted me on the back and said, "Don't worry, you'll get back on track soon." My cousin Jake, a junior in college, barely made eye contact. I heard he was struggling, but I didn't press. No one asked me for advice, because I was the cautionary tale. Funny thing is, Jake joined BridgePath 3 months later. He didn't know it was mine. He used a pseudonym. I recognized his situation instantly, and I matched him with one of our best mentors. He messaged the platform, "This saved me. I was going to drop out." I didn't respond, not directly, but I stared at that message for an hour. It was my niece's birthday party. Backyard cookout, folding chairs, the usual. I stood by the grill flipping burgers while my dad, my uncle, and my cousin's mom all gushed over Jake. "He's finally turning it around," my dad said, smiling. "Found some site or mentor program or something. Says it changed his whole attitude." Uncle Rick chimed in. "Yeah, he's prepping for a finance internship now. Said he learned how to write a killer resume. About time." They all nodded and laughed like they'd personally fixed him. I didn't say a word. Just kept flipping burgers while they praised my platform without knowing I'd built it. Jake walked by, earbuds in. Gave me a nod. That was it. It was like watching people celebrate a sunrise without knowing the sun was right behind them. I didn't want applause. I just wanted to be seen. But I'd learned not to expect that from them. Still, I smiled, because deep down, I knew I'd made something that mattered. Even if they couldn't see me, they were standing in the light I built. 2 weeks later, I got a message through the BridgePath contact form. It was from a local community college administrator asking if I'd speak at their spring career fair. They didn't know who I was, just that BridgePath was getting results. especially with students from underserved backgrounds. I almost said no. Public speaking wasn't my thing. But something told me to go. I walked into the gymnasium with a simple slide deck and my name printed in small letters on the opening slide. Half the room didn't look up from their phones. But when I showed before and after stories, real students whose lives had shifted, they started paying attention. I was halfway through when I spotted Jake in the back row. He leaned forward slowly, squinting at the screen. Then I said, "We match students with mentors in their chosen fields. In fact, one of our students, he goes by J. Miller 23, used our resume tool and landed a competitive internship this summer." Jake's eyes widened. I saw the recognition hit. After the talk, he came up to me. "You made BridgePath?" he asked, stunned. "Yeah," I said quietly. "I did." He just stared, then whispered, "Dude, you saved me." The next family dinner was at my parents' place, a Sunday thing, same as always. I almost didn't go, but Jake texted me that morning. "You should come today, seriously." When I walked in, the usual small talk started. My uncle asked if I'd sent out any resumes yet. My dad made a joke about the tech bros all working from basements. Same script, different day. Then Jake cleared his throat. "Hey, I want to say something." Everyone went quiet. "You guys know that mentorship site I've been using? The one that helped me turn things around?" Nods all around. "It's called BridgePath," he said, "and Ethan built it, like from scratch. It's his." Silence. Forks froze halfway to mouths. My mom blinked. My dad tilted his head, confused. Uncle Rick actually laughed, until Jake shot him a look. "He didn't just help me. He's helping thousands of students. You've been trashing him for years while he's been doing real work." No one said anything for a long moment. Then my aunt finally murmured, "Wait, seriously?" Jake just nodded. He's the reason I didn't drop out. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. For once, I didn't feel invisible. After dinner, most of the family lingered awkwardly, unsure of what to say. Some offered quick, half-hearted compliments. "Cool stuff, man." Or, "Didn't know you were into all that." My mom looked like she wanted to cry but didn't know how. Then my dad tapped my shoulder. "Can we talk?" We stepped onto the porch. The air was thick with spring humidity and unspoken things. He stood there, hands in his pockets, staring out at the street. "I didn't know," he said. "I mean, I really didn't know." "I figured," I replied quietly. He turned to me, eyes heavier than I'd ever seen them. "When you quit the firm, I thought you were throwing everything away. I thought you were lost." "I was," I said, "but I found something better." He nodded slowly. "I'm proud of what you've done. I should have said that sooner. I didn't see it." It wasn't an emotional outburst. It wasn't fireworks. But it was real. And for my dad, that was a seismic shift. We stood there in silence for a bit. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like a disappointment. I felt like his son. A month later, BridgePath was featured in a local news segment. A reporter had heard about our impact through the college career fair and wanted to do a human interest piece. I almost said no again, but Jake convinced me. "You built something good," he said. "Let people see it." They filmed me in my apartment. Same beat-up desk, same second-hand lamp, code still open on my screen. I talked about burnout, identity, the pressure to succeed on someone else's terms, and how failure, or what looked like it, became the beginning of real purpose. The segment aired on a Tuesday night. By Wednesday morning, my inbox was flooded. Students, parents, educators, even strangers from my old firm. Some said thank you. Others asked how they could help. A partner from the firm I left even messaged, "Didn't realize what you were building. Congrats." But the one that hit hardest? My dad forwarded the news clip to the whole family chain with one sentence. "This is what legacy actually looks like." For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I had to explain who I was. "They saw me! Finally!"